Welcome everybody to the Single and Stiletto Show. I'm Susanna Shima and I'm a matchmaker and dating coach at Dream Bachelor and Bachelorette, and I'm also the founder of Single and Stilettos. Today we have on our show Wendy Newman, and she's the author of 121 First Dates, How to Succeed at Online Dating, Fall in Love, and Live Happily Ever After. And I'm so excited to have her here today because today she's talking about why he didn't call. And I know, ladies, you're dying to know the answer because it's the one thing that frustrates all women out there when they're out there dating. And I could tell you it frustrated me when I was out there dating. So before we jump into it, Wendy, I would love for you to tell our audience a little bit about you and why you wrote this book and why you went on 121 first dates.
Hi, Suzanne. Thank you for having me. So it all got started in the middle of dating, actually. I didn't mean to write the book at all. I was just a girl out there trying to find her man. And first date number 54 happened at the ripe old age of 43. And it was so hideous, so horrendous, that it had to be documented. I documented it for my married friends to help them stay married. And for my single friends to help them see that they weren't alone out there in just ridiculous situations. And it just spun off from there. I was documenting dates after that, the victories, the ways I blew it, the way he blew it, the way we were really great together and what we did right. And it all just came together as this really delicious book that's half tell-all and half guidebook for women.
Awesome. And ladies, yes, I know you're wondering, did she find her partner? She did.
I did.
And she's truly in love with him. So that is so great. So ladies, I think it's important to see that sometimes it can take a long time. Sometimes it can take shorter. You never know. But I wanted you to see the reality of it. So let's jump into it. So Wendy, tell us the real reasons why he didn't call.
Well, you went on this amazing date. You completely clicked. You had a great time. And he said he would call, and you knew that he would because he liked you as much as you liked him. And finally, maybe you finally get to rest. Maybe you get to exhale. He's going to call. And then he doesn't call. And then he should have called. And then what happens to us is our inner critic starts to replay the entire date and pick it apart. Boy, your inner critic is not your best friend. And she'll tell you all the ways you blew it. You laughed too loud. You should have never told that stupid story about your family. Maybe you wore the wrong outfit that showed your muffin top. Oh, God, you shouldn't have sat sideways. You should have sat across from him, right? You just start replaying the whole thing. And the truth is, my sisters out there, you won't ever know. You won't ever know why. It probably has nothing to do with you. It might have something to do with you. There's a million reasons why he didn't call, starting with maybe he heard something in the date that at the time he liked you so much, he had so much attraction for you that he was willing to overlook it. And then later on he could see, and it wasn't bad, but it was just maybe you had different matching futures. Maybe you don't want children and he really does. And you're so tasty that he was like, oh, yeah, no, I don't want children to be with you. But then, he got home and got his wits back about him and went, oh, yeah, actually, no, I really do want that future. So you might not have had a matching future. Or maybe he's just getting back to dating from a relationship and he thought he was ready and you were the whole deal. And he wasn't ready for the whole deal. He was only ready for ice cream, not a home-cooked whole meal there, right? So there's all kinds of different reasons, and you're never going to know. You're never going to know the truth. But I want to leave you with two things about this. And one is, since you're never going to know, and that inner critic is making things up, never empowering, by the way, what she has to say about why it didn't work out, you can decide. And I like to tell myself the story that it was because I was the whole meal and he realized he just wasn't ready yet and he really liked me, but the timing was off. I just went with that. And I never knew if it was true or not, but it helped me sleep at night. Funny enough, years later, here I am, years later, literally 6 years after first date number, even longer than that, after first date number 10, while I was on tour, we met up for coffee. And he said, hey, can I tell you why it didn't work out between us? So you were the whole meal. And I was like, oh, what?
I love that you actually found out.
Yeah, he said, I'm really sorry. And for me, I just thought it fizzled out, right? But he said, yeah, I could see that with you, there could be a real grown-up relationship. And I'd never done that before. And I just kept battling and I wasn't ready. So that you can make up that excuse and it might be the real excuse. But most importantly, what you want to take away is he didn't call you because he's not your man. And how you know that he's not your man is that he didn't call you, because your man, he calls. And so while it sucks and it hurts and you want to pout about it, and you should pout about it, you can just keep remembering, my man calls. So he did you a favor. It doesn't feel like he did you a favor, but he did you a favor to sort himself out quickly instead of 8 months or 8 years later.
Well, and that is so true. And I think the important thing is that no one likes to get rejected, right?
Right.
But the thing is that, like Wendy said, you will never know the real reason unless he tells you himself. And most men aren't going to tell you themselves. So one thing I want to point out, ladies, is what we tend to do is we tend to also go talk to our friends and family members and say, this is what happened on the date. Why didn't he call? And then our friends and family members give us a litany of answers. And sometimes they could be right. Sometimes they could be wrong. But I think it's better to go down the route that Wendy did. Because you know what? He's not your right man. He would have called if he was.
And your friends and family mean so well, and they can be such jerks. They can tell you things.
No, they can't.
They'll tell you things like that they think are going to help. Like, maybe you should try harder, or maybe you should put less effort into it, or maybe you should. No, you did the best you could. Here's the thing. If you show up on that date as you, representing you as you, and you just were yourself, on time and you knocked it out of the park. And if he didn't call, there's nothing you need to change about yourself. You just weren't a match. And it's really tricky because that little inner critic voice in our head will want to know why. And the reason we want to know why so bad is so we can change into a different person. Most of you do not need to change into a different person. You're great. So you just haven't met him yet.
Exactly. And I just want to point out that sometimes I loved, Wendy, how you said we look at that inner critic and we start looking inward. And I see that happen a lot with my clients. And the important thing to remember is you don't know what his own issues are. It could actually be him and have nothing to do with you. So ladies, remember, you're only 50% of the equation. He's the other 50%. Like Wendy said, just show up as the best version of yourself and do the best that you can. And if he's a match, he's a match. If he's not, he's not. Okay. Well, these have been some great tips. So Wendy, tell our audience how they can find you and your awesome book.
You can find me and my awesome book, 121 First Dates, How to Succeed at Online Dating, Fall in Love, and Live Happily Ever After, really. You can find me at wendyspeaks.com, and that's WENDYSPEAKS.com.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for joining us on the Single on Stiletto show. Our show is available both in video format and podcast format. If you'd like to view the videos, you can go to singleonstilettos.com. If you'd like to get the podcast, you can download it from iTunes. And if you would like to get our free ebook on the 3 secrets guaranteed to attract any man based on scientific research, you can click right here on the video, or you can go to singleonstilettos.com.